welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be painting, as you can see, 3 minis. Yes, we're not going to be painting them all in this video, we're going to paint one, but during the course of painting I'm going to be doing them all, as I have done in the last one. I'll paint one and then there'll be a transition while I paint the others, so that it'll come back to doing this one. So you can see what I'm doing on one of them, but you'll not see what I'm doing on them all. But then again, I'm doing exactly the same on each of them as I am on the first one, so it's not all that difficult to follow. So these are the Spartans. There is a fourth Spartan I can do, that's in the Conan set, but I'm just concentrating on the ones from the base game of Mythic Battles. So this is the guy we're doing. Long flowing cape, helmet, crest. Really very near the same as the hoplites that we did yesterday. No, not yesterday, last week, but the only difference being is really the pose and the fact that there's a lot more flesh in this one. Now for this, with the flesh, I'm going to be doing a slightly different colour. Rather than the Bugman's Glow that we're using, we're going to be using rat skin flesh. That's a different colour, but still flesh all the same. So let's get some of this on our palette. And we need quite a bit of this because there's quite a bit of flesh on display with this mini. And pop that there, rinse the brush out and give it a bit of a dry before going into the brush that we're using. I don't want to use that one this time. Slightly bigger one will do because there's, like I said, a bit of flesh tone to cover up. A bit of flesh tone to use rather. And get that on. And we just apply it to anywhere where there's flesh. Now the Spartans, if I remember rightly, tended not to worry a great deal in battle. In fact, the night before the battle, a big battle, they would spend time getting haircuts and things like that, styling their hair, and I suppose it gave the opponents a false sense of security, thinking we're definitely going to be able to beat these because they're just a bunch of posers and that. I don't know. I suppose that could be one reason why they did it. But I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly. So we'll cover up all the flesh tone. At this stage I'm not too worried about going over areas that aren't flesh, because I will be going over them later on with a different colour. So it's not too important that I'm careful now, but I'm trying to be as careful as I can because I don't want to be putting paint either and everywhere. I want to make sure that the paint we're on, or where I'm putting paint, is where I want it. There we go, and then we've got feet. That's what I'm gonna. I think that's flush as well. Just go with it. That was like an hour. I'm just making sure that I've got everywhere refresh. The sandals here I'm doing, oops, let me just adjust the camera so I've got a more comfortable working condition here. I'm hoping I've got everything then. If not, that's why there's a transition. Now I'm going to change brushes just for a little bit because we can see faces, albeit not much of a face, but we can see a little bit of face. So moisten that thinner brush and we'll let's get in there like so. And while I'm here, I'm just making an effort to make sure that I've got everywhere that should be flesh. It looks like I have. I don't think I've missed anywhere. I'll go over that arm again because it doesn't look too covered. Down here near the shield. So that's what we're doing for this stage. I'll carry on with the other two. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so there we are. We've got the first stage done, all to the same stage. As you can see, we have them all painted just as it should be. Now, next stage, what we want to do is get the shall we do the metal first, or shall we do the let's do the metal first because there's more of that than anything else. So for that we're going to be using the same as we do with other metals, Warplock bronze. We'll pop some of that on our palette, and oops, got the wrong brush for this, but never mind. Alright. I think that I'll be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Just move some of these. I'll be able to do some of the painting with this brush while I've got some on the brush itself. Don't want to waste any. So the large areas such as the shield, just going to do the shield. I can't really do much else because it seems to be drying up. Not drying up, but I'll need to refill the brush, shall we say. So instead of doing that, what I will do instead is just clean the brush out. Dry it off. Get another brush. Now with this brush we can then proceed to paint all of the metallic areas. The shield is going to be completely metal. I have seen, Ali found that funny. The shield we're going to be doing, as I say, completely metal. I've seen a few pictures of Spartans, or depictions of Spartans, and I've got an idea of what I like with it. Let's just move this back over here so I can see what I'm doing. Also do the blade of the sword as well with this brush. I'm not going to do too much with this brush because it's a bit too big to get into detailed areas, but I will continue with it a little bit later. What I want to do next is using a finer brush, just going in with it. I don't want that one, that's too fine. That's the one I want. And I'll be able to get the handle of the sword. And there are other areas of metallic, like the helmet for example. I'll be able to do that a little better with this because it's much more control with this particular brush than I do with the bigger brush. Saying that, I've just gone over his fingers. So oh well. I'm going to have to go back over his fingers again. Just make sure that we get all this covered. And then obviously try and get the face plate done without getting it on the skin underneath. That's the, shall we say, not the hard job, but it's the tricky bit about this, especially as it's got a nose guard as well. We'll just try and get as much as we can covered. There we go. And next we have the shin girdy things. Get all this done. Basically everywhere where there's armour we need to do with this, because it gives a nice background, a nice dark background for the paler metallic colours to go over and offer a little bit of shadow. Oh yeah, and do here as well. And there's some also this type of armour on his wrists as well, so we'll have to make sure we remember to do those. Let me just Guess what he's on now. Alright. And so there's nothing on that one, but also there is on this one. I may be wrong, but it does look as though there's, oops, a solid line there. There we go. You can also see one there as well. So make sure when we're doing it, we cover everywhere that needs it. Sometimes it takes a little bit just to be able to spot what you need to paint. And sometimes the mould or the miniature itself isn't very clear. There we are. Next, we'll just do this bit here. Just like so. And when that's done, we can then do a bit of a transition. Right, no count. I'm going to do this as well. There we go. And there we have what we're going, that's what we're going to be doing so far with all of them, getting them to that stage. So we will come back in a moment when they are at that stage. Okay, so there we are. That is the metal done. What we're going to be doing now is the little under skirt, I suppose you could call it, the part here. There's not much of that, and for that we're going to be using what colour we use. Tell you what, not used this one for a while, so we'll do now Screaming Skull. Because there's not much of it, we're just going to go straight from here. Get as little water, a little paint on your brush as you can. The bristles are damp. So it is, shall we say, thinned a little. Not that much, but for what we want it for, it won't do the job. And that's all there is to that. Well, there's only a little bit to do. Let's just get on with it. After this, I'm going to be doing the whatchamacallit, the cape, and try and make this, seeing as it is quite a dynamic pose with a lot of movement in the cape. I'm going to have to do something a little different. Just, well, not different. I did it exactly. I'm going to do it exactly the same way, near enough, as I did the hot plates, but obviously different colours. With the Spartans, the majority of the time you see them in red. I do quite like that, so that's the colour I will be using. Not because I'm trying to fit in with everybody else's, but because I just like the look of it, to be honest. It seems to fit the minis, so I'm going to do it. I was going to change my mind and do the opposite colours. What I was going to do the Spartans in the colours that I did the hoplites, but I noticed something. I quite like some of the pictures I've seen. I saw something on the shield which I quite like, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to make everything like a reddish colour. But before I do that, I need to mix some paint because I don't want it completely red. So Doombull Brown, which is very reddy coloured, very reddish brown colour. Bang some of that on the palette. I will need quite a bit because there's 3 capes, and into that I'm going to mix a little bit of Abaddon Black, just to darken it still further. We're not going too heavy with it. I'm not trying to make it black, just trying to make it a very dark reddish brown colour. That will do. Hopefully I've got enough there. I can just go over the whole cape. We'll soon find out. I'm just going to put this on with this brush for the moment because I've got paint on this brush. I will be changing brushes when I can't get any more paint off this brush. Yeah, stuffing about in there. Why have I just reloaded this brush? Don't want to do that. Habit, habit, habit. So everybody seems to put this colour, or the capes on this, very black at the end. Highlighting and gradiating up to red, which I like, but I'm trying to do mine a different way because, well, do my minis and that's how I want to do them. I think that's it for all I can get off this brush, so I'll give it a rinse out. And get my bigger of the 2 brushes that I've been using, and we can get in here and get some of the larger areas painted. Oops, oh, this moved again. Now there's not very much of this brown left to see. When I've actually finished highlighting it, but so we need the darker colours on in order to show off the paler colours. So that's what we're doing. Alright, I'm going to try and leave the inside of this brown. I like this colour. But the outside is definitely going to be reddish colour. I'm going to change brushes once more into the finer of the brushes I've been using. Come in and just do this step here. And just making sure that everywhere that is the cape is actually painted this colour. There we are. So that's what we're going to be doing with the next two minis. So I'll be right back right after I finish. Okay, so there we are. Now, one thing I had noticed while doing the capes is that I forgot, or I've missed an area with the metallic colour. So I'm just going to do that now. It's not going to take too long. It's just a quick blap there and a quick blap. The tip of the sword, that's all. Right, so next we're going to be doing that little skirty thing that he's wearing, and for that we're going to be using yet again Doombull Brown. So we'll add a little bit of that onto the palette like so, and I'll put two lots down for a reason. And that reason being is I'm going to mix two colours into it, so I didn't want to have them separate. I didn't want to have them together, you see. So the next colour I'm going to be using is Corn Red, and I'm going to make this a much more of a reddy brown. That's the one I've just put in, and with that we're going to just go over these areas. Now there are some of these areas that are going to be metallic, but I didn't do metal over it because, in fact, where I have done metal I'm just going to go over it. It's much easier trying to do it that way. So I'm just going to cover all over the skirty thing that he's wearing. I might, yes I will. I'm going to change brushes because this is a bit too thick for what I want to do. I'll change that and I will go in with my little zero brush. And with that I'm going to do the leather straps. Oops, that shouldn't have been done, never mind. Into there and into there, and it's all done. I need to cover up a little more with the screaming skull, but that's not an issue. Oops, other straps that need doing as well, which are on the shield. I'm doing these like a leather rather than a metal because I think In fact, what I'm going to do is for that, I'm going to take a little bit of this colour, mix in a little bit of the colour that we mixed for the cape, make it a bit more red, and that's the colour we use for the leather. Right, I'll go back and I'll do one of the straps with this colour. There's not much of a difference, but I know there is one. So while I'm doing the rest of it, you can watch a brief transition. Okay, so there we are. That's all done. We have the skin tone done, skirty thing done. This is the bit now that we need to just touch up on at the bottom. That little skirty thing underneath the red that we've just put on. So we're going to do that now. So we're just going to make sure that red is got on there in the first place. There's no anything on here that needs doing. Also a bit more careful on this one. A little bit there along that edge, and that is it. Okay, so now it just needs a quick look at the flesh areas. I've just noticed as well there is another strap that I've missed. It's there. At least it looks like one anyway. Not exactly sure what it is, but oh heck. Right, and that's made my mind. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to have to now. Back over the flesh tone, just to make sure that it's all covered, that it's all a uniform colour. Okay, there we are. So that's the skin tone done. Now I just want to see whether or not that the first one is dry enough to... Yeah, definitely. So the first one is dry. We are going to now add the wash. And for the wash we're going to add a very obvious one. You might think it's Tan green. That's not really. No, it's Reikland Flesh Shade. That's the one we're going to be using. So we'll plop this all over the skin areas. I'm also going to go over this little under skirty thing that he has under his leather. Let's do the whole. Let's do the whole bit. How's it going then? Huh. Don't get his feet, don't get his legs done. I'm not going over everything with this particular wash, but there are some areas where, you know, you can. A little bit there that I need to touch up on, but that we can do later on. And there we go. That's all we're washing. There we are. So that is the wash that we're going to be applying to that. Now, we're not quite finished yet, even though the wash is usually the last thing we do. I've just had an idea what we can do. Using our highlighting brush and our, let's go for, I've got a pale one, I wonder. No, I'll use this one instead. Hashrut copper. Use that, and we're just going to quickly dry brush the shield. I don't think it's showing up terribly well. I'm not looking for a full. Oh God, I'm not looking for full coverage of this. I'm just looking for. I don't think it's working. So we'll try something different later on. We'll let this wash dry first of all, and then we'll come back to it and see what we can do. So that's it for the time being. I've definitely decided I don't like the hashrut copper for this. So I'm going to try something else. So there we are. That's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be finishing off in the next video, all being well. Just have to wait for this wash to dry and then we can crack on. So until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.